In order to work in QGIS, we need data. Within this course, we have a folder called Data that contains different data from various countries that we are going to use for our exercises. We are going to load a vector layer into our project. In the top row, we look for the Layer menu and open the Data Source Manager. We can also use the first icon in the second row that also opens the Data Source Manager. On the left of the new window, we have some tabs that allow us to choose the type of data we want to add to the project: vector, raster, text files, WMS, and so on. We are going to start with vector data. We can choose if we want to load a file, a directory, or a whole database. We are going to keep the file option and the system encoding. We click on the 3-point button at the end of the vector dataset line, and in our data folder, we will search for Senegal. There, we find other folders and especially some files which repeat the same name 6 times. We can see that they are different types of files, and the type that interests us is the SHP. An easier way to locate these types of files is to filter them by changing the button from All Files to ESRI Shapefiles. Now we can better see the layers that we have at our disposal, and we select the Region layer and confirm. In the Data Source Manager window, we click the Add button and then close the window. On the canvas, we have drawn the spatial layer of the Senegal regions, which is polygonal in type, and in the Layers panel on the left, the name of the layer appears. Also, the ESPG projection of the layer is correct, since the layer has it assigned, and this is assigned automatically in the project. We are going to add other layers. In the Layer menu, we select the option Add Layer and Add Vector Layer, and the Data Source Manager window opens again directly in the Vector tab. Again, we click on the 3-point button and select the Roots layer and add it to the project. In this case, it is a layer of lines. We repeat the process and add the Localite layer, which is a layer of points. Finally, we are going to add a raster layer. We have already seen that there are more options on how to add this, either in the Layer menu, Add Layer and Add Raster Layer, or with the Open Data Source Manager icon. We make sure that we have the Raster tab selected, because if, for example, we select a raster file from the Vector tab, the program will give us an error and will not add the file to the project. As before, we click on the 3-point button and select the folder Global Land Cover 30, and there we look for the file GLC_sen30, specifically the file that is a TIFF type. Of the files of the same name, it is usually the larger, and then add it to the project. We close the manager and a layer displayed in grayscale appears on the canvas. In the Layers panel, we can see the layer of GLC_sen30, and just below the name, the values of 10 and 255. It is the range of values that the layer contains. The minimum is 10 and the maximum is 255. In this case, each figure represents a type of land use within the pixel. In the case of the digital terrain model, it would be the altitude within that pixel. We can see that the layer is covering the vector layers. Hold down the left mouse button and drag the layer further down where we drop it. This is how we change the order of the display of the layers. Layers are always displayed on the canvas in the same order as they appear in the Layers panel. These are usually the point layers first, then the lines, then the polygons and the raster layers in the background.